Hey, what's up? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'm talking with musician, singer, songwriter, and manager, and the lead vocalist of the band Atreyu, Brandon Saller. Let's go.
Smoking on piff, that's my kind. I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
How you doing, Brandon?
I'm great. I'm super good. It's good to see you.
You too, man. I'm stoked you're here.
Me too. Me too.
All right, where do you want to start?
Wherever.
We could start with work stuff, like the Reimagine stuff you guys did. We could start with that.
Sure. Yeah.
Where did that come from? Just you love songs you wanted to do?
Yeah.
I always kind of wanted to do that too.
It started kind of during COVID.
Okay.
Where we had never done acoustic anything in our band. It was just kind of like not something we ever touched.
Right.
And then during COVID, it was like, we're putting out a record. So how do we like try to promote the record, do some live stream stuff or whatever? Mm-hmm. And the most sort of accessible way to do that was acoustic. It was like, you know, not as hard to get everything together and like this and that. So we started doing some acoustic stuff and the response was just better than we thought.
Right.
Coming from our background, you don't kind of expect our fans to be into that, you know, maybe, but it was like, why haven't you done this ever in your career? So spawned from that. And then we sort of realized that we just have like full on multiple personalities, I think, within our band. So it was like, why don't we just actually shine a light on that?
Yeah.
Instead of just having it be like a little performance here or a thing, like why don't we just actually dive into that pool, you know? So I think what started as like an acoustic project turned into like a full, why don't we give these songs a whole new life and give them an opportunity to be songs that people that have never even heard our band or like our band might be into, you know what I mean? Because a lot of them are polar opposite of the originals, you know?
But they're cool.
It's fun. Yeah.
I liked it.
It turned out fun. Yeah.
Do you think that like bands from, I don't want to categorize them, but like, let's say bands that come from like subculture, subgenre, heavy music, punk, hardcore, the whole world of right? Of these kind of like these scenes and genres that are like, do you think that we or they or all of us or any of us, I'm including myself in the group with you, so I feel cool, limit ourselves to what we think we can do, should do, will be accepted from us versus what we imagine and just do if we were kids in a garage playing, creating, throwing paint against the wall, building things? Do you think that we limit ourselves to like what's possible for heavy bands or punk bands or this band or, you know, things that are really defined by like an edginess to them, whether it's how we dress, how we look, how we sound, who we associate with? Do you think that there's some kind of like deeper self-esteem thing or like limit we put on ourselves to what we can create? And like, you guys just went and did this beautiful music. And in my mind, I'm just like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
I don't think twice about it.
Yeah.
I'm not limiting you at all. I'm just going like, this is a great fucking version of Mary Jane's Last Dance. Like, I fucking love it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting. It's like, I wouldn't even think that a band would have to think about that. But then I go, well, in my band, we would too. We would go, can we do this? Like, what do you think that is?
I don't think the majority of, because like you said, it's like at our core, every band is just those kids that were in a room making music like that piss their parents and their neighbors off. I don't think it's the majority. I don't think it's bands that put those limitations on themselves. I think it's people on the outside that project those limitations. Because I think that once music leaves the 3, 4, 5 dudes in the band,
right?
You know this too. It's like, it's almost no longer yours. It's theirs.
Yeah. It's not yours anymore.
And whatever they say about it becomes the truth. And I think those are the things that make bands worry about what they can and can't do. I think that we specifically kind of made a very conscious effort to like break that give a fuck button. Yeah,
to
like
press
pretty
against
early.
it. Yeah.
And I think it came from the fact that just everyone in the band liked so much different shit that we sounded different. We wanted to all kind of incorporate our own influence, which turned into something that sounded kind of different. But I think that if most bands didn't listen to the outside, if, you know, like, then they might not care as much about that concern, you know, which I think that's how art should be. Is like, it's the Rick Rubin thing. Like, as much as it pisses off a fan of music, like the fan has to be last.
Right.
Because if not, art doesn't exist. It just, something's creating something that they thought you would like, which isn't real.
Yeah, it's like going into an amazing chef and trying to tell him
How to cook.
what to make.
Yeah.
Instead of going and being delighted by the thing he created with that you had no idea.
Well, and this is the beautiful thing is if you don't like that chef, you don't have to go to that restaurant.
Yeah, you can go to another one.
You can go to another
keep
one.
trying.
Yeah. But
you find one.
in today's kind of world, if someone doesn't like your flavor, they'll make damn sure they tell you about it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they have a lot of options.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can just go to the other one. Yeah. You know, like other
But they can also
exist.
they have a lot of options how to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can just they can really go get after it if they make it their mission to.
We always joke off. We always say fucking off is an option. Let's not forget.
Yeah,
You could always fuck off.
Yeah, well, you guys strike me as the kind of people that would tell someone to fuck off, which I like because we need our heroes to be a little bit like not give a fuck in the right ways and give a fuck in the right ways, right? Like
I think we give a fuck about I think you should give a fuck about what you do and try your hardest not to give a fuck about what people think about.
yeah,
Because as much as like success is a big part of being an artist, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like I would rather live comfortably and tour comfortably and have recognition, but at the same time, like it's about doing what you want in the first place.
not at any cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel the same way. I feel like it took me 20 years to make sense of that, to go, no, I do give a fuck about the right things and I don't give a fuck about the wrong things. I always try to encourage people to want success,
Yeah.
to want to succeed at whatever it is, whether it's something personal or if it's a dream or if it's a job, whatever it is you do. If you don't want success at that, take a stop and look at it and go, maybe I'm not working the right job.
Yeah.
Because if you find something that even just captures your attention, your imagination, it inspires you. A lot of people find their ways into jobs they didn't even think about.
Yeah.
And then they discover they like it. It makes them feel good about themselves.
Of course.
And then they should want to be the best, right? For themselves.
I think a lot of people fall into things that they like the outcome. If it's just a job, it's like, well, I don't know I wanted to do that, but I like how I can live and how my life is when I do that. But like, exactly, I don't think most people don't strive for the middle.
Yeah,
At
they
least they
should
shouldn't.
strive for the top.
Yeah, at least they shouldn't.
To try to be great.
Yeah.
And everyone deserves that, I think. Everyone deserves to be able to say, I want to achieve this. I want to do this. And if you're in and around any group of people that doesn't allow you to or doesn't make you feel like that's okay, I would stop and look at where I'm hanging, because I try to surround myself because I need it. My self-esteem needs it.
Yeah.
Like if I don't watch out for my low self-esteem, it will rear its head and I will make some low self-esteem ass decisions.
Yeah.
So I need people around that are encouragers or that are also trying to achieve their own dream or thing or life. And I think that it's a certain mentality that you can find. And then there's the other mentality of like, well, it's not, there's no point to any of it. It's hopeless. And why would you even say you want to achieve this or you want to make this much money or you want to do this? It took me a long time, but I got to a place where I'm like, no, I don't want to be around that.
It's dreamers.
Yeah.
I like to surround myself with dreamers.
Dreamers. Yeah,
Like,
that's it.
I despise, I'm not a yes person. I'm a yes person in the sense of if something is presented to me, the first thing I think of isn't why wouldn't this work?
Right.
The first thing I think of is, well, how could I make this work?
Yeah.
I think that's the dreamer mentality. I think that like people that think the other way, where it's like, why would you think you could make that much money? Why would you think you could do this? Have never felt what that feels like to conquer that or to like actually succeed there.
Yeah.
Because I think once you feel that, once you actually go for something and it works, it's like contagious. You want more of that. Like that's the hit,
Yeah.
because you pulled something out of thin air and made it exist. And you're like, oh, I can do that. Well, I can do that again and again and again. Climb a mountain. There's always a taller mountain. It's
Yeah.
like, so it's like where people that I think are in that mind frame have just never felt what that feels like, which is unfortunate, because I think that the entire world would be a lot happier place if people actually just knew that you could do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Or they might actually have experienced it in other categories. Like they may be a really like fit person. They've just achieved the top level of like, you're just like, that guy, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's so fit. but he's not winning over here. I do think there's there's categories in our life, relationships. Some people you're like, oh my God, they just been in a great relationship. It's amazing. And some people it's like, I can't figure it out. Why can't I figure the relationship thing out?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's something to look at and try to look for the patterns that you're doing or whatever and figure out what's the repeat happening. Right. And you can do that in like a bunch of categories in life. I think there's probably like 5 or 6 major categories. Finances is another thing. It's like people that struggle with that. You're like, well, okay, like I think you should stop and look at where are you winning?
Why are you winning?
And why? And you're like,
you
usually
said the fit guy, why is the guy fit?
he goes every day and he does it.
And if he's not happy with his job or his relationship, what is he not doing there? He's just not doing the same thing.
He's not doing the same
thing. He's not
thing.
paying attention. He's not committing. He's not being as consistent.
And is mindful of it. And it's simple and complicated because the simple idea is just like repeat what you're doing there.
Yes.
Easier said than done because then you have to actually become conscious of your actions, your patterns, your decisions. And that part's kind of hard because it's harder when it's internal. And it can be painful.
Yeah. It's easier to go, if I go lift this thing every day for this much time, easy. But when you have to actually go internal
and go like, what am I? And that's where I think people run away from their weak spots towards their strengths.
Yeah.
So they're super career successful, but not relationship successful. Okay, I'm not saying you have to be relationship successful, but if it's something you want, which a lot of people do, you got to stop and try to unpack it slowly. It takes time and do some kind of like plan towards visualizing what you want. A lot of people don't even do that. They haven't even stopped to go like, what kind of relationship would I like to have?
Yeah.
And start dreaming it. You got to dream first, right? So it's like, what kind of job would I like to have? Well, you got to start dreaming it. And then it starts to take on, you know.
You put yourself in a mindset to be somewhere. And all of a sudden, I mean, it's like, I'm not a super like hippy dippy, like manifestation guy. I believe in all of that, but I'm not like
there's something to it.
There is, but I'm not that guy.
You're not every
what
day.
I'm about to say is going to make me appear that I'm that guy. But
okay, I like it.
It's one of those things where like, if you imagine yourself somewhere as if it's a possibility, or even as if it's fact, the world will open doors that it would not open if you did not have that mindset.
I agree with that.
You will meet people.
100%.
You will see things you wouldn't have seen otherwise. You will have interactions with people that you would not have paid attention to otherwise, because your brain and your energy is going to that specific thing. Where if you're not on that kind of wavelength, it won't happen. If you're not in the right place, if you're not in the right headspace, a lot of things will just not open for you. No.
Maybe this will make sense. Maybe it won't, because we're just riffing here. But it's important because everyone listening deserves to have the best version of their life possible. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere in parenthood or something, you realize everybody deserves to be loved, to have someone support them, and to have like, to see how far they can take this thing.
Yeah.
Right? This avatar they're in. How far can we go?
Yeah.
What can we do? And so I try to like always, like I'm sitting here with you and I'm like, how can we talk about the success you've had so that people listening, not only the fans of your music, but everybody listening can kind of take something away and it can live in their mind and their consciousness because they heard you say it and then they carry it with them. And that's kind of how we evolve together, right? We share information, we share ideas. So to dream and visualize and manifest, whatever you want to call it, because I believe it's all, I agree with you. Like, it's not what I get up and think every single day, but it's something that I believe deeply in.
It's real, yeah.
And I have proof of it, like over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? But to do that, you have to be bold enough and humble enough.
Yeah.
Because on one side, everyone's like, you're crazy. On the other side, you have to be humble enough to say it out loud in front of people who are going to think you are crazy.
You have to go, yeah, maybe.
There's a lot of humility in that. It's not a delusion.
No.
I'm not saying that
it's really easy to start listening too. It goes back to what we said before. That's why, you know, anything you do in life, you have to have the right people surrounding you, because the one or two people that are like, you're an idiot, dude. What are you talking about? Like, that's not going to happen. That shit can start to sink in. It can start to change.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
Oh, maybe I am crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in music. I mean, it's an endless an endless fucking uphill thing to like
You're always
figure it
climbing.
out. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
but when there's nothing else in my head, there's always been nothing else.
And me too.
I'm a musician and I'll do other things, but I write songs, I play music, I play shows, and that's it.